Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and also added On Fire Athletes. Of course, that's the platform powered by GameCoin. If you've not checked it out yet, it is awesome. If you have a son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter, friend, neighbor, tell them to check out On Fire Athletes. Great way to create your own digital trading cards. Awesome. Check it out. On Fire Athletes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. It is game day. Who dat? Get to watch Saints a couple more times this year. And, I think we're all well aware of, what's at stake here and what isn't. The Saints were officially eliminated from postseason contention on Sunday with the Falcons win. So the best the Saints can do is tie the Falcons in the win-loss record. And they would lose tiebreaker, all division tiebreakers, and Bucks. So anyway, so Saints officially eliminated. Not that that's a surprise, but I think we look for 3 games remaining here: Monday Night Football against Green Bay, home against the Raiders, and then you're at Tampa to finish. Let's see how they finish. See if they finish strong. Let's see how Spencer Rattler looks. Obviously, you're kind of jockeying for draft position right now, but I don't think they can do any better than like 8th or 9th. So. If you're dreaming of some like top 5 pick, top 3 pick, that's not going to happen. But I mostly want to see the young guys continue to play well and develop, because ultimately, if the Saints are going to get back to being a playoff team, which is now 4 straight years with no playoffs, first time that's happened since the early 2000s, from 02 to 05. If the Saints are going to get back to that, to being a playoff team, it's going to have to start with drafting well and your young talent becoming good veteran players. So that's going to mean Alante Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's going to mean Brian Brzee and Taliese Fuanga and Trevor Penning, Kendre Miller, maybe Spencer Rattler. So I'm really keeping an eye on those young guys here over these next 3 weeks, because it's really important for them to continue to develop into good starting NFL players, not just NFL players that are starting, not just players that are starting in the NFL because they have to, but guys that would start for other teams. You don't have look around the Saints roster right now and go, who do the Saints have right now that would be a starter on somebody else's team? That's a real challenge. I mean, there's places where DeMario Davis good. He's 34 years old. You know what I mean? You're talking about veterans. How many of your young guys would be starters somewhere else? Maybe if he was healthy, Chris Olave. So that's really important for those guys. Anyway, all right, y'all smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being there with us, as always. And keeping an eye on LSU Portal stuff. Again, waiting on the Harold Perkins news. Hopefully that drops today. I know we talked a good bit about it yesterday. The Patrick Payton news did become official yesterday. So LSU's class now officially the Portal class officially at 13 additions. And Brian Kelly said last week they plan to get to 15. So, offensive tackle, safety are the spots they're still looking at. And, Tigers keep getting ready for the bowl game. So they play a week from tomorrow. So it'll be a New Year's Eve bowl game for LSU against Baylor. All right. It's funny. I don't know who I don't know who the Locked On Baylor host is. And by the way, I do not have Locked On LSU live yet. We had Erica's whole family party here last night, and we didn't finish that until everybody gone, picking at midnight. So I was I needed to just crash. So anyway, so I'll get when we finish this, I'll put together today's Locked On episode. The Locked On Baylor, the Locked On Baylor guy. You're talking about a clickbait type. It was on his YouTube. I saw it popped into my feed. It was like entire LSU offense opts out of bowl game. Brian Kelly in trouble. I'm like, the entire offense? I mean, you got your quarterback, got your starting running back, got your number 2 leading receiver, you got 2 starting offensive linemen. I'm like, that's 5 starters on your offense. Just about half your offense is still there. Anyway, whatever. Do what you got to do, man. Devin Kelly, good morning. Jerry G, good morning. Brad, Andre, Jason, Brian, good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Jacob, 21 degrees in Gate City, Virginia. Boys, cold up there in the East. You know, I tell you what, like it was like 32 here last night. So I mean, it's coming. Are we gonna have a cold Christmas? What's the weather supposed to be like for Christmas? If y'all look, let's see. Wednesday, high of 72. High of 72 and rainy. It's so ridiculous. Whatever. God's Green, good morning. Brian, hope the second round games are better than the first. Yeah, man, they will be, Brian. You'll have more competitive games. I mean, of course, Ohio State, Oregon's going to be more competitive. Notre Dame, Georgia's going to be more competitive. I don't know about Boise, Penn State, and Arizona State against Texas because I don't think Arizona State and Boise should be in the playoff. But whatever. But yeah, you'll have better games. Some person, Monday Night Football, Monday Night Beatdown. Again, it's less about the game. It's more about what we're going to learn from it about the team. Thomas, day 14, let's make it happen. You got it, man. We'll do it. Leon, good morning. Excited to see us play. You know what the other thing too, Leon, is like we say, man, you wait all year for the season to come, and you got 3 more opportunities to watch your team play. So I'm gonna enjoy them. I know they're not playing for the playoffs or anything of significance, but I'm gonna be interested to watch them play. Hey Hunter, hope Rattler looks really good. The Saints lose a close one. Good to me. Al, good morning. Kate, is Will Harris a long-term safety for the Saints? That's a good question, Kate. I don't think so, man. Like if he is, that kind of illustrates the problem you have. I think you got to go draft a safety. Letting Marcus Williams get away was a problem, but I do think Will Harris has played well when he's been healthy this year. He's been a pleasant surprise. Hey, Devin, let's see. Hope that dude buys the Saints so he can fire Mickey Loomis's sorry tale. I can't send that dude anymore. That dude he's talking about is Tillman Fertitta, who owns the Houston Rockets and the Landry's restaurant chain. It built worth about, I guess, like 11 billion. I think I saw, but yeah. So Tillman Fertitta said he's already expressed interest in buying the New Orleans Saints, but Mrs. Benson isn't selling. But I don't think Mrs. Benson will sell before she passes. So really, it'll come down to whenever she dies. If Dennis Lauscher, who's been named the executive of her estate, will oversee the sale of the team with conditions to keep it in New Orleans. So we shall see. Good morning, Matt. Talk about these great games. Maybe the Saints can deliver something decent for the holiday season. I mean, yesterday the Commanders Eagles was awesome. I don't know if y'all watched that, but that was great. Niners Dolphins was a good game yesterday. Sunday Night Football was good. I mean, how about the Cowboys with nothing to play for, playing really hard and beating Tampa? Tiger Diver, morning, Scone. Any other high school prospects LSU might sign in February? So that's a good question, Tiger Diver, and I don't have the answer to that. That's a question for Shay. And normally I talk to Shay every Tuesday, but obviously I'm not working this week. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve anyway, but and then next year's New Year's Eve. But let me see if I can maybe run him down and get an answer to that. Let me see if I can find out. I mean, just what I'm thinking positionally, I'm thinking like if you can sign a quarterback, great. But I would think every high school quarterback. Hang on, let's look at the On3 quarterback rankings. I would assume that all the top quarterbacks in the country have signed somewhere, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm down to number 30. Uh, the 50th best quarterback is Hezekiah Melender out of Athens, and it said he's not signed, but it has a Georgia logo there. So I guess maybe like committed to Georgia or leaned to Georgia. Number 54 is Sawyer Anderson out of Dallas. He's thought to be an Arizona lean. Tristan Tia out of California, Oregon State. These are unsigned players. Emil Picarella. Is Emil Picarella for this year's class? Huh. So Emil Picarella is a quarterback at U High. He's the number 65 quarterback. They have him as either an Ole Miss or Mississippi State lean. It's interesting because like I didn't realize Emil was highly ranked like that. I mean, the 65th best quarterback isn't like he's a 3-star, isn't super high rated, but he is a kid in Baton Rouge. I mean, Emil's a good player, and interestingly enough, his sister works with us at Guarantee. I mean, that's interesting. Landon Locke out of Rockwall, Texas, has interest in 5 schools. I mean, this could potentially be the type of player you're talking about, like a 3-star that you get in to bring another body in. You know, maybe that you could develop into your program if they're interested in doing that. Let's see. Steve Scott, Matt, wishing your entire family a wonderful Christmas and New Year. Hope you enjoy the fruits of your labor later over the holidays. Thank you, Steve. Very kind of you, man. Best to you and yours too. Yeah, I do. I enjoy this week. I always get a little stir crazy, not working, not having a show to prepare for every day. I mean, I'll continue to do Locked On, but no AFR. But yeah, man, it is nice to just sleep. Like I slept till 8:30 today. I mean, didn't set an alarm, slept till 8:30, got up, did my cold plunge. It was nice to just sleep. So happy to do Locked On, happy to do Morning Scone. Gonna run around town with Drew a little bit today, just see what we can find. Maybe get a few last minute like stocking stuffer, stuff like that. But yeah, man. Thank you, man. Kelly, good morning. Hey, Christian, good morning, man. Have a great week, bud. Hope you're doing awesome. Jerry, yeah, Merry Christmas, man, to you too. Devin, I don't think Kool-Aid is a viable starting option. Maybe nickel or slot, not a boundary. Yeah, Devin, I just don't know that we know that yet, man. I mean, he was injured. He was playing some nickel and slot for you, but like this is what you find out, right? I mean, he was a boundary corner in college, and I think he has the skill set to do it. Maybe you can question the size a little bit, but part of the reason they were willing to trade, like I'll tell you this, Devin, I think Kool-Aid's more boundary corner than Alontae Taylor. I think Alontae's probably more of a slot or even a safety with his size and his physicality. But I think Kool-Aid's more a boundary corner than Alontae. Wendell, good morning. Andre, really? Maybe Chris Olave? Maybe. I mean, Olave isn't a home run hitter. He's undersized. I mean, my point is there are places. So if you're just joining us, the point is us like, look, what you want to see with the next 3 games for the Saints is the young players continue to emerge and develop. I said, which starters on the Saints would be starters other places? And like, there's a lot of places. Who is that, Andre? Andre, there's a lot of places where Olave wouldn't be a top 2 receiver on other teams. So, like, he wouldn't be a top 2 receiver in Cincinnati. He wouldn't be a top 2 receiver in Minnesota. He wouldn't be a top 2 receiver in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of places where he wouldn't. That's what I'm talking about. Like, who's a guy on your team that's a no doubter? Like, he goes to that, like Marshawn Lattimore was, but you traded him. Who's a no doubter? Like any of the 32 teams, that guy is starting. Like who's on the team that's that guy? Lowell, top seed in the first round, outscored their opponents 145-68. Was hoping for a competitive game. Did the committee get it wrong? I listen, I'll continue to say my point with this is first of all, no, the committee didn't get it wrong. It's not the committee's job to organize competitive games. It's their job to seed the field. My opinion is seeding the way they did is stupid. Like, that's what netted you those games. Like, there's no way Boise State and Arizona State should have had a bye. If Boise State and Arizona State had been playing this weekend, and Texas and who would it have been? Penn State? Who was ranked 3 and 4? I think Texas was 3. Hang on. Yeah, Texas was 3, Penn State was 4. So Texas and Penn State would have had the byes. So you would have had Notre Dame against Clemson. So Clemson would have gone to South Bend. You would have had Ohio State hosting Arizona State. That probably would have been a blowout too. And then you would have had Tennessee hosting SMU, which would have been a much better game. And then you would have had Indiana hosting Boise, which would have been a much better game. Like, those, like, objectively, I think we can all agree, those games sound like they would have been way more competitive than what we saw. I think Notre Dame would have waxed Arizona State, but other than that, the other 3 I think would have been really competitive. Jason, y'all come sit on Uncle Scone's knee. Let's ease your mind on the whole portal transfer. Olave and Shaheed wouldn't be day one starters on the other places, man. Like, I think you're missing the mark a little there, Andre. I mean, I think Shaheed's been a pleasant surprise. But he's also a one-trick pony, man. Like, watching Dallas last night. You rather Shaheed or CeeDee Lamb? I mean, come on. I think you're not paying attention to what other teams around the league have and do. Phil, good morning, Matt. If you were the commissioner, what rules or regulations, if any, would you put on transfer portal and NIL to bring uniformity to the sport? Yeah, man. I mean, I think so. I'm fine with transfer portal. I'm fine being able to transfer each year. As long as college football is going to be associated with a university, then I'm fine with it. If you want to make college football effectively a club sport or its own entity that's not regulated by the NCAA or governing body like that, okay. Then you can break it apart and have your own rules and stuff like that. But you can't. My hope is that revenue share, like, here's the. This is so deep and complex. I'm trying to decide how deeply I want to go into the whole conversation. Like, it's this weird juxtaposition where the schools, the universities, created the NCAA as a legislative body. Okay. The schools agree, and let's create the NCAA to organize our championships and to enforce our rules. Okay. They do that. Well, college athletics continues to grow at such an incredibly rapid rate. And now you're at a point where the NCAA enforces the rules that you created them to enforce. And then you turn around and sue them for enforcing the rules that you created them to enforce. So now they can't enforce the rules you created them to enforce. So now there are no rules. Like, it's a weird, like, I think a lot of people probably don't think of it in those terms. Like, where did the NCAA come from? The schools created the NCAA to enforce the rules. Like, you can hate the NCAA, that's fine, but who started the NCAA? The schools. Like the NCAA didn't come along and start all these athletic departments. So ultimately, the schools have to be willing again to abide by NCAA rule, which they're not with respect to NIL. So that's what you have to have happen. Now you're never going to cap it, but can you stop things like pay for play? Sure, if you're willing to enforce the rules. But every time they try to enforce the rules, they get taken to court, they lose. So they're like, all right, forget it. Hey, Chef, good morning. Hey, Rick, good morning. Merry Christmas to the Mosconas. A lot to be grateful for. Be safe and make members. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. JL, good morning. Ryan Stadler, Notre Dame had touchdown Jesus this past Saturday, this coming Saturday in New Orleans. They're going to see the devil Kirby Smart. Shane, Matt, that's an old JPEG of you. I don't know why I've had that up there so long now on the YouTube channel. Rusty, good morning. What's going on with New Orleans area affiliate? Yeah, man. So we did have a meeting last Tuesday with our potential affiliate, and it went very well. And they were supposed to give us an answer this week. And if it's thumbs up, fantastic. And then we'll start the process of all the technical components of bringing on a new affiliate. And hopefully we get that done really soon, man. I know it's a bummer not having been on in New Orleans the past month or so. It is for me too, but hopefully our new partnership goes through and we have some good news for y'all soon. But yeah, it would be all like New Orleans, River region, Bayou region, North Shore. The people we're talking to would be sort of that whole area, which would be great. Because I know one of the issues we had with 100.3 is some people had trouble hearing it on the North Shore and parts of the city. So hoping for a positive outcome here. But again, like we can't. People say, why don't you have you can't just make someone put your show on air. Like someone who owns a radio station has to agree to carry your show. And so there's a lot of negotiation. There has to be a need, right? Someone who has a station has to have a need for programming. So anyway, working on it. Hey, sorry, just did that one. Devin, even if they move the team out of New Orleans, they still be my team. I absolutely hate going to NOLA. Oh, I see what you're saying. Patrick, morning. Late start today. Boot up, suit up. LSU now 10-2. Yeah, nice win yesterday for the basketball Tigers. Started very slowly. I mean, 12-4 out the gate for UNO. Tigers couldn't buy a 3-pointer, but went on like a 21-1 run. It was something crazy like that early in the second half and just blitzed past UNO. Mike Williams away from the team for personal reasons. Matt McMahon said he'll be back next week. I think that's one of those. That's the guy who started 30 times for played in every game. Started 20 of them, something like that. As a freshman last year, and I liked him a lot because he's unafraid, man, fearless to take that shot. But you went in the portal and you brought in 3 veteran guards, and so I think minutes have just been harder to come by. And then a guy like Victorious Miller has earned his minutes this year. So, we'll see what that means for Mike Williams moving forward. But yeah, Tigers get a win. They're off this week. They play Sunday against Mississippi Valley. That's the last non-conference game before they open up, I think, Jan 2 against Vanderbilt. Ryan, Matt, can somebody that's in the playoffs already have committed somewhere else and waiting for their season end? Yes. I believe that is the case, that LSU has a couple of silent commits, guys that are still playing somewhere else that are going to go into the portal when their season ends, and I think will end up at LSU. That has been confidently expressed to me, that there's a couple of silent commits. So when Brian Kelly says, we're going to add an offensive lineman and someone on the back end of our defense, he's telling you they're going to add a tackle and a safety, and I think they feel good about who they're going to add. Please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel. Hey, Cade, where should the Saints look in the first round? I think you go back defensively. Not a big fan of any quarterback in the draft. Maybe next year at Arch. I don't know where you're drafted next year. But, Cade, the thing is, man, you need help everywhere. Like, you very clearly need offensive line help. You desperately need a number one receiver. Let me look at your receiving core this year. I mean, yes, Shaheed and Olave are injured, but you have nothing else there. I mean, you're relying on Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Cedric Wilson. I mean, Dante Pettis. Yeah, I mean, you're bone dry at receiver. You desperately need a receiver. You could obviously go quarterback. Depending on what happens with Chase Young, you really need a defensive end. Like, you're one of the worst teams in the NFL generating pressure this year. So, Demario Davis is old. You need linebacker. Tyrann Mathieu old. You need a safety. You traded Marshawn Lattimore. You could go corner depending on how you feel about McKinstry and Alante. My point is, like, boy, it's all, people always say, oh, draft best available. This is one of those years where it really feels like that. Like, you could take wherever the Saints put you, whoever's the best player on the board. I mean, you need help everywhere. Hey, Jeff, good morning, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Joseph, good morning. Hey, Fred, do you see a future where Tulane and Georgia Tech rejoin the SEC? Like, literally zero chance. Remember, in the era of expansion, if you're going to expand your league, you've got to grow the revenue enough to justify dividing the revenue more, and neither one of those teams would do that. I can go deeper into it, but just understand, like, all the revenue generated by the league. So the TV contracts, the bowl payouts, the NCAA tournament shares, like, all of the revenue from the league, it all goes into one big pot, and it's divided now 17 ways, 16 schools and the league office. So you have to be, like, adding that school to the league has to grow the pie big enough so everybody's piece of the pie grows. So adding Texas and Oklahoma grew the pie so substantially that you could make two more slices, but the pie grew so big everybody's slice was bigger. Adding Tulane and Georgia Tech would not do that. Aaron Noland is still available. Thane, let's see, is this level of activity in the portal sustainable or product of the extra money we have? So that's a good question. Talking specifically about LSU, and I don't know the answer to that, Thane. That's something that's going to be an interesting test case. So, like, what he's saying is, look, LSU spending a ton right now in the portal. Like, can they do it again next year? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if this is hey, you had a surplus of money because of Underwood and Stewart and Phillips not, like, going elsewhere. The combination of people being upset about losing Underwood and so motivated to spend, upset about going 8-4, motivated to spend. Like, what if next year you have this veteran roster, you make the playoffs, you come up just short of a national championship? I don't know. Let's say you make it to the semis next year, just hypothetically. Okay, are people super pumped to go dump money back into NIL? I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer to that, but I think it's a great question. I mean, I really do. I think that is, from an LSU NIL perspective, I think that is the question. But then also, does revenue share start to limit or minimize NIL? Anthony Gugaluza, good morning. Off until the first, picking up my mom and daughter from the airport today in NOLA. There you go. And no railroading in sight. Merry Christmas, Anthony. I hope you have a great Christmas with your mom and with your daughter. Best to you and yours, man. Appreciate you for being there. Sleep is awesome. Yes, it is. Brent, good morning. Merry Christmas. Happy Festivus. Callium, what did Kelly's defensive assistant do at Notre Dame that Kelly hasn't done at LSU? You started about Marcus Freeman. Callium, I think it's important to remember what the two coaches inherited. That's the thing that nobody wants to have that conversation about. The year Brian Kelly left Notre Dame for LSU, it was still a 14 playoff. And up until, like, it was a little controversial that Kelly left when he did, because Notre Dame was still a team some thought might make the playoff. I think Notre Dame finished 5th that year. Let's see, in the final rankings, in 21, they were 8th, but they were 11-2. Wait, let me go to the week before. Yeah, so they were 5th. So Notre Dame, so in those rankings that set the playoff field, in 21, Notre Dame was 5th. So they were one spot out of the playoff. So Marcus Freeman inherited a program that was one spot away from being in the playoffs. That was Brian Kelly's last year in Notre Dame. Brian Kelly at LSU inherited a program that had 38 scholarship players in the Texas Bowl, was coming off back-to-back 500 seasons. Like, Marcus Freeman inherited a very stable, healthy, good program, solid program. Brian Kelly inherited a not good situation. That's the big difference. Rex, morning. Saban said if current NIL situation continues, expect TCU, Texas A&M, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon to be elite. Teams like LSU Bama will struggle. Big talk from Saban. I'd love to hear that comment from him. I mean, where that was from. But it's true. But the other one I'll throw in there all the time is SMU. I mean, I've mentioned that over and over and over again. I mean, SMU bought their, like, never lose sight of that. SMU bought their way into a Power 4 league. And in year one in the Power 4 league, made the college football playoff. That's the power of money. Like, did you see the recruiting class rankings? I mean, SMU hasn't been relevant in forever. Or maybe it was the portal ranking that I was looking at for them. Maybe it was their portal ranking. Yeah, they're 31 in the high school rankings. I can't find it. Anyway, point being, like, yes, the Texas schools have money, will spend, and that's the other thing that's really interesting. I don't know if y'all saw, but there was I think we talked about it on AFR, maybe briefly, but there was a story about how athletic departments are looking into, I think it was Dellinger did, looking into private equity, and then also the possibility of, like, investment groups buying, like, pieces of the athletic department. That would be fascinating too. I don't know if you do, but like I saw last week, LSU's athletic department valuation was around like $900 million. So, like, what if you took on ownership that would buy like 49% of the athletic department, and it ran structurally like a professional sports organization? That would be fascinating. I mean, it would provide a huge capital investment in this era of revenue share. And I mean, you have this immediate massive cash infusion to help pay for that for, 20 years thereabout. I mean, however long you need it, like, I love it. Morning, Matt. Got my cabinet stocked with Evermore. Love it, Seth. You know what? My buddy Shane from Evermore, actually, he and his wife Amy swung by on Saturday, like great people. They were in town. They swung by, brought me a little gift pack with an Evermore quarter zip and a water bottle. It's great people, man. Drink Evermore. Holidays are here. Drink Evermore. You need to stay hydrated, especially if you're going to be imbibing a little bit. Stay hydrated. Let's see. Sorry. All right. Sorry, 1 second, y'all. My apologies. One second, sorry. All right. Milton, good morning. Don't be stir crazy. I won't, man. I'll get out and do stuff. Charlie, Devin, Drew's still sleeping, bro. Like, hey, knock on wood, man. Let that dude sleep as long as he needs to sleep, man. If he'll sleep until noon, I'll let him sleep till noon. Merry Christmas. Mine will be raining in the 70s. Oh, man, I'm behind on comments. Sorry, y'all. Drew, cue the jingle gate. let me do that now before I forget. Shout out Thomas. Here you go.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right. Parish Construction and Roofing. Yeah, we had the Keller Christmas party at our house last night. So Erica's like entire family, extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, everybody. And we always do like a white elephant gift exchange. So I got a gift card and this, the worst dad jokes. Thought about giving this to Brian Kelly. Maybe I'll bring it. Let's do one here. All right, you ready? What do you call cattle that don't produce milk? Milk duds. What's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a tricycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle? A tire. Maybe we'll give this to Brian Kelly. Let's see. Catch up here. Oh, did I miss that? Look at that. Friday, Parish will be doing my roof. Very good. Love that. The old man, of course, would be Mr. Ron Richmond. We affectionately call him the old man. Great dude. Love that, man. Hey, and you want a hat? We got you covered, man. Just come by the office or we'll bring it to you. Thank you, Drew. We appreciate it, man. Olave's cooked with concussions. Come on, man. Let's not go that far with it. Devin, you just jump over that line sometimes. We only think when you talk about the former tight end that's a murderer. But anyway, Sheed is overperforming. Olave is underperforming. Yeah, but you know what? It's also based on expectations. That doesn't mean like Rashid Shaheed would be a starter, a top 2 receiver at other places. Trivia, good morning. Charlie, you surprised Mike Denbrock hasn't been a head coach? I know Mike Denbrock was after his first year at LSU. If you remember, Luke Fickell went from Cincinnati to Wisconsin, and Denbrock wanted that Cincinnati job. It's strange sometimes how guys get, I don't know, pigeonholed or typecast as a coordinator and never get that opportunity. Look, for a long time, that was Brent Venables, right? He was a long time DC successfully at Oklahoma. Went to Clemson to kind of get out of Bob Stoops' shadow. A lot of people assume that was always Bob Stoops' defense. Well, Venables goes to Clemson. They obviously become a championship team there at Clemson, and he got his opportunity to be the head coach back at Oklahoma. I don't know if it maybe would have to be the right situation, but I know for Mike, and y'all have heard Erica talk about it. Like we love the Denbrocks. Their son Chance went to school at St. Jude, where Erica works, and Erica became really close with Mike's wife Diane and the whole family. Great people. They're wonderful, wonderful people. So I think the world of Mike Denbrock, and their whole family. But I also think like South Bend is a great spot for him. They gave him a great deal. His family is less than, they live in Michigan. They're less than an hour away from there. They got a lot of friends still in South Bend from when they were there prior. And I just think there's a lot, like sometimes it's just life situations. Like, could he be a head coach? Absolutely. But at this point, like, do you take a G5 head coaching job just to become a head coach? I don't know. I think that's part of it. Like sometimes you get to a point in your career. Like I'll tell you candidly, for me, it's kind of like that. I mean, I'm I've hosted AFR for 15 years. I'm 42. A lot of people ask, like, what did you ever leave? I mean, I had opportunities. Atlanta, Houston, New Orleans, other places. It's like, well, am I going to uproot my family to go start at the bottom rung of the ladder somewhere else, but move to Atlanta to go talk about the Hawks? I'm good. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So, um, if the right, like, you don't say no to this offer comes along, sure. I think the same, that's how Dan Brock would be. Like if a Power Five school came along and were like, we're giving you your first head coaching opportunity and you're going to be the head coach at Florida. I just hypothetically, whatever. Then yeah, I think you'd probably take that. But I don't know definitively. Brad, I did see the Eagles Commanders game. It was incredible. How about Jaden Daniels? I mean, overcoming all those turnovers. Crazy. Let's see. Cartel, Matt, how's everything now knowing the WDN isn't playoff contending? Do we start the younger players or see what they have to offer? I mean, I guess that would be Who Dat Nation, by the way, they're talking about. I mean, do you start the younger players? You're already starting the younger players. And you've been starting Tale Fuanga, you've been starting Trevor Penning, you're starting Taylor and Kool-Aid at corner, and you're starting the young guys. You don't have any other options. I mean, who's a young guy that isn't starting that you want to see? I mean, I want to see Rattler. I want to see Kendra Miller. I want to see Fuanga and Penning continue to develop. Brzee continue to play well. I mean, that's really what I want to see over these final 3 games. Yeah, Carl, want to see what we got for the future. James, good morning. Do you think the Saints keep shifting Alante outside as caused kind of down season? Maybe. I think I think he had always been a boundary corner, and when he came here, you had Lattimore and Adebo, and so you had to find a place to put him on the field. I think he wants to be a boundary corner, so can that stick? This is a good opportunity to find out. A Festivus with the rest of us. Rocky, these LSU QBs are balling. I know, man. Jaden was awesome yesterday. Joe's great too, obviously. Excited for Rattler and Miller, no doubt. Were you surprised that Tennessee flopped against Ohio State? Yes, I am. I'm not surprised that Tennessee's offense struggled. That was kind of the whole narrative going in. Like, if y'all were, like, all throughout the season, Tennessee, their offense was so bad in the first half of games, especially against defenses with a pulse. So I'm not surprised that Tennessee's offense struggled. I am very surprised by how much Ohio State's defense, Ohio State's offense just bludgeoned that Tennessee defense. That Tennessee defense was like that, especially the defensive front seven was very good. And Ohio State just ran roughshod over them. That was like, if that Ohio State shows up every week, they'll win the national championship. That was like, that offense, that ain't a fluke, man. Like, that was a good defense that they bludgeoned. Morning, Matt. Saints going to weather cover tonight. Maybe take the under. There you go, Thomas. Good morning. Saints will cover. It'll be a balmy 32 at kickoff. Any word on Perkins? Yeah, Brian. I mean, listen, I was told no uncertain terms. Expect Harold Perkins. He's coming back. They were just crafting the announcement, and we're waiting on whenever they're going to announce that. So, I mean, I was told that Saturday. They could announce it yesterday. They could announce it today. I don't know when they're going to announce it, but I do. I mean, barring some unforeseen change, which is probably the caveat I should throw in, is barring something unforeseen, like some change. I do believe Harold Perkins is going to be back, and they're going to announce it soon. Brian is locked on strictly football. No, man. It'll be all year. Yeah, so I'm sorry, Brian. I'm going to do an episode. So for those that missed it, Locked On isn't published yet. I'm going to do it after we finish this. So we had Erica's family over last night, like her whole extended family. We had like 40 people at the house. And we didn't finish, like, everyone leave, cleaning up, whatever, till like midnight. So by the time that was done, I was just like, I'm going to bed. So, and then I slept in. So I am going to do an episode as soon as we wrap up here. So my apologies for that. But yes, Locked On is year round. So we will, it's never not football season, right? I mean, because you'll go from football season into like your bowl. You're still going to have more portal news, the February signing period. You get into then spring football and all, but we will also have basketball and baseball season will overlap. So yes, we started Locked On. I resumed Locked On, I should say in June. Around baseball. When LSU was kind of going through the baseball portal cycle. So yes, to answer your question, long way of answering your question, but yes, year round. I just didn't do one today. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it published here shortly. Thomas, why do you come to listen to a company jingle? Because he supports, bro. What's your problem, Death Valley PVC? And it's awesome jingle too. It kind of is your thing. That kind of is your thing. Charlie, preaching to the choir, been doing high school play-by-play for 30 years. Opportunities to go elsewhere wasn't right for me and family. No doubt. Happens, man. I mean, that's true for everybody in life, right? You make the best decisions for you, which maybe would be the best decision for everybody, but it's what it is. Let's see. Ryan Stadler, who do you like for NFL MVP? I mean, it feels like it's a two-horse race. It's Josh Allen or Saquon. I think Allen is probably running away with it right now, and will win it comfortably. Don't forget, Matt. Yeah. The guy, that guy yesterday in the comments who said Perkins going to Ole Miss, like, I'm a believer in the news world that you believe nothing, but you consider everything. So I don't know where he got that, but it makes you at least go like, let me make sure I'm not just I have a blind spot somewhere. But y'all, like, I mean, there's a few people that would definitively know. And the conversation I had was with someone who would definitively know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Milton Burrell, God bless you for watching the Pels. I'm not at all. I have noticed they're an awful basketball team. When they get all of their starters back, I might watch them again, but not. I have no desire to watch a G League basketball team. Huh. You crashed. Let's see. Jalen Ford, Foskey. Dude, yeah. I mean, listen, if at this point Foskey's not making an impact, I mean, I guess you never say never. And sometimes it's like, look at Zach Bond. Like, sometimes it's just how you fit within a defense. Like Zach Bond, I don't know if y'all know, Zach Bond's like the second or third leading tackler in the entire NFL. That's a dude that couldn't get on the field. And like Dennis Allen is a good defensive coach. Like, it's for all the blame he deserves for being a bad head coach, he is objectively a good defensive coach. And they couldn't figure out what to do with Zach Bond. He goes to Philly and he's one of the best defenders in the NFL. Like, it's crazy. Dude, Bryce Young, wow. Sometimes it just takes time, man. Saints will lose the game. It'll have nothing to do with Rattler. Rattler's going to try everything. Packers O-line will lean on the Saints D, control the game. UNO did not almost upset LSU, Mark. It was close for like a minute into the second half, and then LSU went on like a 21-1 run, and they had walk-ons in at the end of the game. That's not almost upsetting. Cut Carr, get Rattler some wide receiver, see what he got. They're not going to cut Carr. Again, you'll have a $50 million dead cap number next year, but that avoid Thomas. LSU Saints, Drew, and Jinglegate. There it is. I didn't kick you out for whatever it's worth. Let's see. Tiger Dagger, we've had a few Festivus drops today. Ryan, how often do you bring Russ Mitchell on the show? Wednesdays during football season. Mark, Willie Green, hot seat. It's hard. It's hard to judge someone whenever you lose like your top 6 players. But it may be time for a restart, a refresh of the organization. Yeah. Couple more. We'll get out of here. Eric, do you think LSU signals were picked up by A&M? No. The more interesting thing than that is like how the league did announce that the helmet comm, there was like, that was a story that largely went ignored, but the SEC acknowledged earlier this year that at one point in the season that the helmet comm frequencies were being intercepted. That's a little concerning. Foskey never drafted a Notre Dame player. I don't know, man. Notre Dame had run a pretty stinking good offensive lineman under Brian Kelly, and I mean, Kyle Hamilton's one of the best safeties in the NFL, so I'm not gonna say never. I mean, heck, I wanted them to draft the running back Kyron Williams, who was with the Rams. Like when the year the Saints drafted Kendra Miller, I wanted to take Kyron. That dude's a really good player. So I wouldn't say never draft. Fourth and go, Tim Gotro, Christian. Last 2 inspections of the year. There you go, man. There you go. Enjoy your downtime, man. Y'all check out my guy Christian if you need a home inspection, commercial building inspection, Avid inspection specialist. Great dude. Morning Sconer. Great dude. Check him out. If the Falcons cut Cousins, we can cut Carr. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't cut Carr. I'm telling you they're not going to cut Carr. How is Denver able to eat all the dead cap money for Russ? They have a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal. Toki Doki, would you have a list of talk shows for primarily LSU baseball talk or SEC talk? Would you have a list? Do you mean, are you looking for recommendations? Check out Musso at the Box. With the Rockets, maybe. Leon. Long way to go to that, y'all. I mean, until Gail Benson dies, this is a moot point. Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. All right, let's get out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, our great sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. And they're always scrolling here at the bottom as well. So if you need them, they're always down here. Y'all have an awesome day. I'm going to get... I'm going to go get a Locked On LSU recorded now and get it published. So y'all can check that out. We'd appreciate it. Have an awesome day. We'll